You're listening to Native Writers Fest, a series that features Native literary talent from Minnesota and beyond.
Wewenep in the Mokoma! KBFT. I was just like a rock star, just kidding. Bonjour, Kananan Nindwe Magana Takoma. Wewenep is in the Muk. KBFT is in the Kate 89.9 FM on your dial.
Ron Kanutski is a stand-up comedian from Thunder Bay, Ontario. He hails from the Red Rock Band of Ojibwe at Lake Helen. His inspiration to get into comedy went back to his public school days. He wanted to mix rock and roll with comedy.
And one of the guys that I really looked up to came along. His name was Sam Kinison. And he's the one who developed that and took it over the top. And I remember my friend saying, "You came up with that. You actually talked about that." And I said, "Yeah, but that man delivered it."
Sam Kinison wasn't the only influence. He remembers a friend pulling out a beta tape of another famous comedian.
Really old school.
Yeah, my friend says, "Come over here," and it was really weird because we closed the curtains, and we went inside, and he locked the door because we didn't want any adults coming in. I was like, "What's going on here? What are you going to put on?" I had no idea what he was going to share with me, and we watched Eddie Murphy Delirious, and I was like, "Man, I haven't seen anything like that." I said, "I want to do that for a living."
He told his dad he wanted to be a comedian, but didn't receive the words of encouragement he was hoping for. So he put that dream aside for a while. It wasn't until he turned 40 that he started working with people and found his purpose. And he still had a passion to play music and do comedy. And that's when he entered a comedy competition. He got second place.
When the comedy opportunity popped up again, I heard of these competitions that were happening in town. I heard it on the radio, and I drove to the radio station and I signed up. And as soon as I did that, I got scared right away. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if my dad told me I can't do this. It's not possible, you know. So I got really scared about this, and so I went in this competition. I was citywide, and I got second place. And I felt like I failed. And there was a guy from Chicago. His name was John Caponera. He came up to me and he said, "I don't know how they judge here, son." He said, "But you're number one in my books." He goes, he said, "This is subjective." He said, "But you're funny." He said, "You said stuff that I have never heard before. You're not stealing anyone's material." And he says, "That guy that won, he ain't gonna be back. He's never gonna go into this." He said, "You got the taste for this." He says, "You want more." He says, "You'll be back. You'll win this." And he says, "The question is, what are you gonna do after that?"
He won the competition the following year. In Thunder Bay, he said he was the king of comedy.
Just standing up here. Like right here, there's a tan. This is under here. Oh, it's just really white. I am so white.
Kanutski isn't sure what the future holds. He says he doesn't want comedy to become a burden. He wants it to remain fun.
And it's just about living the moment and having an experience. And as long as you're having a good time doing it, that's all that matters. You know, that's for me, anyways. I'm not shooting for anything. I know in the beginning I thought, I have to get on TV. I have to get on this show. And I started to have woke up out of fairy tale land that some of these places ain't as big as they claim to be. You know, everybody's striving to get to this place or that place in New York City or Los Angeles, and it's just another place.
Kanutski worked really hard to get where he is today. His words of advice to others who want to get into comedy: you don't have to go the traditional route of open mics and small nightclubs to be successful. You can do it yourself. Ron said he built his own shows, and people came.
What I did is I created my own shows, and then I hired other comedians in the community of Thunder Bay that I thought were funny. I built my own bills, and I made my own shows. And I skipped that nightclub begging for a show. I said, that's like a bar band kind of thing. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Not get paid for my craft, giving it away for free, and keep being told you're going to get exposure. I've been exposed to many things, you know, weather, particularly in the north. I don't need any more exposure.
For KBFT, I'm Allison Herrera. Native Writers Fest is a production of the Nut Lake Radio Project and is supported by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.